Now we have Lucky coming in a little closer here, and he's walking right by the what we call rock den. He's, as I said, a 7-year-old male from Wisconsin. He was born of a wild... Now this is all a lot of show, a lot of teeth. And Lucky just stood up to Honey and said, yeah, right. I'm not scared, but he got up and made himself look big. I did see Lucky. I believe he did open his mouth and he chomped like this. That's me putting my teeth together if you could hear it. Honey's not happy. Honey really wasn't happy. Looks like Lucky wants the food, and Honey wasn't going to let him have that. Nobody was really hurt in that. I just moved very quickly on the deck to get a better viewpoint of what really was happening. I got a question, was that the first time Honey stood up against him? No, that was not the first time Lucky has ever stood up against her. He has done that before, okay? And what you saw was a lot of drama, but you know, they really don't want to fight. Pardon me? Yep. Yeah. But that was about the food, and Lucky stood up to Honey Bear. Now we have on the far right, we have little Holly Bear, Holly, our little bear. She's stayed out of that whole thing. She knows better, because she gets treated by Honey, and you've already seen that. And she knows that drill, and why is that? The reason why little Holly Bear gets treated by Honey, I got to make sure I get these two names right, because both the females start with H. That's very typical in the wild, that a larger bear challenges the little one, a yearling, when they want food or when a yearling is in their territory. The yearlings spend a fair amount of time of their year, their first year alone with their mother, without their mother, in trees, because they have to fight for territory, they have to fight for food. And they'll get run off very easily, always by females, because it is a matriarchal society in the wild. And what does a matriarchal society mean? Some of you may know what that means and some not, so I'll just answer that. PTZ driver Honey is behind the high falls, walking from left to right. And she is going to probably walk between, in the end, she will between Lucky and Holly toward the food shed, PTZ driver. Again, PTZ driver Lucky and Holly are toward the food shed, and Honey Bear is going to wind up right between them. Little Holly does not know that Honey will be behind her shortly. I'm quite sure of that. And here comes Honey behind Holly, and Holly now knows it. Her ears are back, and here we go. That was just not even hardly a bluff charge. That was like, I'm here. A few from Honey, and a few more from Honey. And Holly went around to the bushes, actually those balsam trees, and just like, I better get out of town. I feel safer that way. But Lucky is not concerned. The Lucky Bear has just picked himself another piece of watermelon. PTZ driver, we now have Holly Bear back in view. Well, somebody just said on the deck, the little one doesn't get much to eat. That's the way it is in the wild as well. They have to fight for everything they get. And by that, that means they have to, and Honey is going to do it again if Holly doesn't leave. If you notice, Holly's got her head down. She's kind of hunched over, a little concerned. And Honey is seeing watermelon going another way to another bear. We have 4 bears here. We have the 3 you see, and we do have Ted Bear, who is our largest male, who is not out today, and he won't be out today. He's we have him under veterinary care with a little arthritic, a little arthritic condition, so we're resting him a little bit. Now we have all the bears heading that way because Lucky wants to be near Holly, and I think Lucky just chased Honey away. Well, in the last about 14 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, you people have seen bear behavior that if you were out in the woods and you were lucky enough to see 3 bears, this is very similar behavior you would see in the wild. I want to get back to what a matriarchal society is. A matriarchal society is a description where here in the Ely area, females have a territory that they defend to about 6 miles, approximately, where they raise their cubs and their food source. The male bears only play a part in the mating process, and they play no part in the raising of the cubs. A female mother who is pregnant, mating season, by the way, for those of you that don't know, is the month of June, late May, or the month of June. So about a 5 to 6 week period is mating season. The pregnant females here in this area, specifically in this part of the country here, go into hibernation usually in September, usually pretty early September. And they are usually the first to go into hibernation in September. They have their cubs in the 3rd or 4th week of January. And typically here in the Ely area, they come out of hibernation in April. And this year, with a very, very late spring, some of them didn't come out until May. During hibernation, a typical non-lactating bear will lose 18 to 22% of their body weight. A pregnant female who goes into hibernation sometime in September, and if she has cubs, she will come out of her den in the springtime in either April or May with cubs and losing as much as 40 to 50% of her body weight. So for those of you that, especially kids that want to do the math, if there's a 300-pound female that's pregnant, she may come out with cubs in the spring at about 150 pounds. That's normal, but do they look quite different going into hibernation versus out of hibernation? Absolutely. But that is, our bears right here at the North American Bear Center are not too far away from a stage of their life during every year called hyperphagia. Hyperphagia means, in real layman's terms, bulking up, or the desire to eat a lot of food. We are seeing that in some of the behavior and the possessiveness of them desiring to want to protect their food. And you saw a demonstration here with Lucky and Honey about 10 minutes ago. That would more than likely not have happened a month ago. One of them would have just walked away and said, no big deal. Hyperphagia is an opportunity for the bears to gain considerable amount of weight, and it'll last about 2 months, where their goal is to eat. And just to give you an idea how much they can eat, a black bear has been observed eating as many as 30,000, yep, I said 30,000 blueberries in a day. So kids, I don't know if you can even count to 30,000, but just leave it as that's a lot of blueberries in one day. I want to thank you all for being here at the North American Bear Center today, and we're open until 7 o'clock today. Our next broadcast will be at 11 tomorrow morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 4 in the afternoon tomorrow. I want to thank our pan, tilt, and zoom driver of our camera. It's a volunteer located somewhere in the world. And many of our PTZ drivers are located across the pond. We have a couple of PTZ driver Holly Bear food shed. PTZ driver Holly Bear is coming back to the food shed. Little Holly is back in sight for those of you on the deck. I think what she did is just ran a big circle and stayed out of harm's way, meaning she stayed out of the way of Lucky, but he's her friend. He's not going to bother her, but more than anything, she stayed out of our cinnamon phase black bear, Honey Bear. And her buddy, Lucky, has appeared. We have learned in the last couple weeks, since Holly is a new addition here, that if we find one of these two, we tend to find the other one not too far behind. Now, it would not be normal or likely that you would find a 7-year-old male and a yearling female together like this out in the wild. This would not be normal. But these two have struck up a friendship here. And keeping in mind in captivity there are some differences. And Holly has looked to Lucky as her big brother and a playmate.